Robin Hood. Long ago, when the brave and kind King Richard went to war, England was ruled by his evil brother Prince John. He thought only about profit and forced his subjects to pay exorbitant taxes. And while Prince John got richer, the rest poor and needy. Anyone who dared to speak out against Prince John was outlawed and stripped of all rights. One of these outcasts was Robin Hood. Together with his merry friend Little John, he settled in the thick of Sherwood Forest. And so one day, two friends saw a royal carriage moving through the forest, surrounded by rhinos from the royal guard. "Look," Robin said to Little John. "Prince John is about to plunder Nottingham again. How can we get our hands on his treasury and distribute it to the poor?" "Invented. Let's dress up as fortune tellers." Prince John was sitting in the carriage, counting his gold, and his advisor, the treacherous Sir Hiss, perched nearby. "What fun it is to rob the poor to fill your pocket, isn't it?" hissed the snake. The prince chuckled. And then the prince heard voices. Looking out the window, he saw two strangely dressed women. "We are fortune tellers," one of them shouted. "Just 1 farthing, and we will predict your fate." Prince John smiled. He really wanted to know how soon his people would capture this vile robber Robin Hood. Little John lowered a glass ball on a fishing rod into the carriage through the window, and Robin Hood told Prince John to look at him until he was dizzy. Prince John fell asleep, and so did his guards, delighted at the unexpected respite. Little John quickly made a hole in the bottom of the king's chest and poured the gold coins into his pockets. Meanwhile, in the carriage, Robin Hood grabbed bags of gold and carefully removed the royal robe from Prince John's shoulders. When he came to, Robin Hood and Little John were already running as fast as they could. "Guard! For help! I got robbed!" the prince shouted. But it was too late. Prince John knew that Robin Hood would give away all his money to the poor of Nottingham, and sent a tax collector, his spy, the evil sheriff of Nottingham, into the village. The cunning and cruel sheriff saw one of Robin Hood's friends, Father Tuck, enter the blacksmith's house, and went after him. And did not lose. Robin Hood sent Father Tuck to return some of his taxes to the blacksmith, who hid the gold coins in a plaster cast on his leg. But the sheriff found gold even there and ruthlessly knocked the coins out of his broken leg. "You cruel, heartless monster!" shouted Father Tuck, but the sheriff only laughed in response. Then the sheriff went to the rabbit house, where they were celebrating the birthday of one of the rabbits. The sheriff forced the birthday boy to open a box with a gift from his mother. It turned out to be gold, and the sheriff, without thinking twice, took it too. A few days later, Father Tuck rushed to Robin Hood and Little John with the news that Prince John was holding an archery tournament. Prize for the winner, golden arrow. And the charming maiden Marian will hand it over. Of course Robin couldn't resist. The fact is that Robin and Marian were engaged even before Prince John outlawed Robin. On the day of the tournament, Prince John and Sir Hiss sat next to Maid Marian and her lady-in-waiting in the royal box, waiting to begin. Prince John and Sir Hiss were whispering excitedly. They knew that Robin Hood was the best archer in England and that he could not miss the tournament. And to catch it is a matter of technology. Both Prince and Sir Hiss were right. Hiding in the bushes, Robin Hood disguised himself as a raven, and Little John as an old and rich lord. The archery tournament has begun. Robin Hood in fancy dress shifted impatiently from foot to foot, waiting for his turn. He knew that he could easily deal with most opponents. But the sheriff was also a good archer and hit the very center of the target. Raven politely congratulated him. Then it was Robin's turn. With a magnificent shot, he split the sheriff's arrow in half and won the competition. To the applause of enthusiastic spectators, the winner of the tournament marched to the royal box to receive the prize. When Maid Marian leaned over to kiss the winner, she recognized Robin Hood's raven under the fancy dress. Unfortunately, the prince and Sir Hiss also recognized him. Prince John grabbed his sword, knocked off the hat and beak of the raven with it, and cut the suit. Maiden Marian looked at this with horror. "Grab him!" squealed the prince. Robin Hood and Little John were not going to give up and decided to sell their freedom dearly. Trying to grab Robin, the stupid rhinos only smashed the royal box. Robin managed to pull Maid Marian out of it, but Prince John had to get out from under the rubble on his own. The sheriff's next day was hectic. After the tournament failed, the prince ordered the sheriff to arrest all of Robin Hood's friends in Nottingham. Father Taka and the blacksmith were the first to be captured. The sheriff threw Father Tuck and the rest of Robin's friends into the castle's dungeon. The prince was going to announce Father Tuck's hanging the next day to lure Robin Hood out of hiding. Robin could not help but come to the aid of a friend. And in the castle a warm welcome awaited him. The prince gave orders to Sir Hiss, "Tomorrow all the guards must guard the scaffold. When the sheriff brings Father Tuck there, Robin Hood will definitely prove himself, and the guards must capture him at all costs." But Robin Hood has already visited the castle. Disguised as a blind beggar, he walked straight up to the vultures guarding the platform. Considering it completely harmless, stupid the guards blabbed to the beggar about the insidious plan of the prince. Upon learning of what the prince was up to, Robin realized that he needed to act immediately. He disguised himself as a guard and crept up to the sheriff, who was snoring at the entrance to the prison. Then, slowly and carefully, he pulled the keys from his belt. After giving them to Little John, Robin decided to visit Prince John in his chambers in the castle tower. And Little John rushed to open the prison cell. There he was met by happy prisoners. Prince John and Sir Hiss were asleep, and around the mountains lay the gold taken from the peasants. Glancing at them through the window, Robin knew what he had to do. Robin Hood took an arrow, tied a rope to it and fired at the window of a nearby tower. Father Tuck and Little John caught her and prepared to receive bags of gold from the prince's quarters. Sack by sack Robin ferried all the gold, after which he took up the rope himself. Sir Hiss, feeling vaguely uneasy, awoke. "And I saw Robin Hood with the last sacks of gold." "Master, wake up," squealed Sir Hiss. "Robin Hood is here." Sir Hiss did everything to detain Robin, and Prince John did not lag behind him. But the knight was smarter, quicker, and slipped down the rope. Meanwhile, the rhinoceros guard woke up and began to rush along the corridors of the castle to save the prince from an unknown danger. They were in such a hurry to help him that they barely managed to slow down and almost trampled him. A new danger has stood in Robin's way, the sheriff. He tried to get the daredevil with a torch, but missed and only started a fire. Robin quickly jumped off the tower into the moat and hid from the sheriff underwater. Prince John was beside himself with rage. His castle was on fire, his gold was gone, and worst of all, the hated Robin Hood was on the run again. Someone had to answer for this, and the unfortunate Sir Hiss was at hand at the prince. Shortly thereafter, Prince John's brother Richard the Lionheart returned and proclaimed himself King of England again. King Richard was told of the brave deeds of Robin Hood, who helped the common people of Nottingham and protected the people during the reign of the cruel Prince John. The king happily blessed the marriage of Robin Hood and Maid Marian. He even came to the wedding and, together with the residents of Nottingham, met the happy newlyweds at the exit from the church.